In today's video, we're answering the question, what is a logbook violation for a commercial driver? So there's regular types of driver's licenses, which I have, and then there's what's called a CDL license, a commercial driver's license, which is available and applicable to people who are driving commercially. When I talk about commercial driving, think of the big rigs, the semi-trucks that you see on the interstates. These are people with CDL licenses. Their full-time job is to drive for a living, and so they have a special set of rules that they have to follow. They've got certain privileges, they've got certain liabilities. But one of the things that if you have a CDL license and you're driving for a living, one of the things you have to do, according to the federal laws and the state laws as they're incorporated into Arizona, is maintain what's called a logbook. So there are rules under the commercial driver's license requirements. It's called the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Act. And what they're doing is they're monitoring commercial drivers. They want to make sure they're complying with all of the safety requirements and all the legalities that are associated with commercial driving. And one of those things is to make sure that they're not driving too much, meaning they cannot drive for over a certain amount of time, over a certain number of hours. And the way that they measure that to see if a driver is driving too much or too little is by keeping what's called a logbook. A logbook, think of it as just a timesheet, a timekeeping device. Sometimes it's electronic, sometimes it's handwritten. It's tending to be going more electronic now, but when I first started practicing, these were handwritten logs. And essentially all a driver is doing is making sure that they're keeping time, that they're on duty and off duty, the time that they're driving and not driving, because according to the rules, the federal guidelines, they have to be on for a certain period of time and then off for a certain period of time. The actual legalities can be a little bit complicated and sometimes difficult to decipher, but if you're charged with a logbook violation in Arizona, that means that you've been stopped and you're doing something wrong with your logbook. You have not either kept your log up to date, or it's been falsified, meaning you have not actually kept accurate records. And so what police will do is they'll pull CDLs vehicles over, commercial vehicles over, and they'll do an inspection and they'll look through and they'll see whether or not you have your receipts and your gas slips and your weigh tickets and all sorts of different materials, and they will compare those to your records with your logbook. And if there's a mismatch, then they can say that you are in violation of the law. You do not have a current logbook, or you have a falsified logbook, meaning you are driving longer than you are reporting, than you did report in your logs. And so they will charge you with a crime in Arizona. It's a class 1 misdemeanor. It's a very serious offense. It's the same classification as a DUI. And so this is a big deal. Now, if this stuff goes on your record, that may transfer back over to your employer, which may make you uninsurable and you may lose your job. That's why your CDL license is so important to protect. So it's a very serious offense. Now, the way that we typically help people through this process is we communicate with the prosecutor, we communicate with the judge, we get all of the discovery, we want to review what the officer did, make sure it was a lawful traffic stop, make sure it was a lawful search, and then review what evidence they have to prove their case. There are many situations where we can turn a logbook violation, which a lot of the times is a misunderstanding. It's an error. It's something that a driver forgot to put in their records, but they actually did comply with the law. And so we're able to review that and make our case to the prosecutor and to the judge to drop this down from a class 1 misdemeanor into something civil, something that doesn't have any points, something that's not going to go on your motor vehicle record or impact your CSA scores, which can then really hurt your ability to maintain your job, to maintain your livelihood. You know, I have a law degree. I went to law school, got licensed, and passed the bar and passed character and fitness and got my law license. So if anything is going to be jeopardizing my ability to practice law, I'm going to fight to make sure that that's safe. Same principle with CDLs. If I lose my license to practice law, I can't make any more of these videos and I can't do what I love. Same with the CDL. If you lose your CDL license, if you do not have the ability to go and work, the consequences can be drastic. You can lose a lot over something very minor. So logbook violations are pretty common. We see Arizona DPS officers stop CDL drivers. I think CDLs get picked on a lot out of Arizona in particular, but if you've been stopped or you're being investigated for a logbook violation, give our office a call. We deal with a lot of these criminal traffic cases. We represent commercial drivers all over Arizona, from all over the United States and the world, really. And so we'll be able to talk you through and see what we can do to help you make sure that this is not impacting your license and your livelihood. It's a free case evaluation, so give us a call. You literally have nothing to lose. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and thanks for watching.